This black maid went to a rich man's house to clean on her first day. She saw something that changed her life forever, only to see that the living room of the large villa was filled with dense books. She couldn't help but ask the rich man, "Have you read all these books?" The tycoon also gave an affirmative answer. The maid then realized that knowledge could really change her fate. So when she got home, she turned off the TV and personally made a plan for her son's future studies. They were required to read 2 books a week and to write after reading on weekends. The mom's words stuck deep in the boy's heart. From then on, the boy would study late into the night every day, but his grades were still at the bottom of the list. He even scored less than 10 points in every subject. When the teacher asked him how many questions he got right on the test, he could only answer in a whisper that he hadn't gotten any of them right. At once the whole classroom was filled with jeering voices. Carson could only bow his head in shame. In order not to be stared at by this strange eyes, he avoided the other students at the end of the school day. But the ridicule and discrimination was still everywhere. Carson couldn't stand it any longer, so he punched him in the face. When the principal scolded him, he tried to explain that it was all an accident, but the principal wouldn't listen to him. To teach him a lesson, the principal took out Carson's report card for the quarter. It was filled with D's and F's. That's a sure sign of a poor student. The principal hoped that the mother could take Carson back for a good tutoring. If this continues, the school had no choice but to expel him. On the way home, Carson told his mother that he would never hit anyone again, but he couldn't guarantee his grades because he had done his best. Maybe he was as dumb as his classmates said he was, but his mother was adamant. "You're just not as smart as you could be." His mother's words struck a chord in Carson's heart. He was determined to prove his talent, but no one would have guessed. A poor student at the bottom of the school became a world-renowned neurosurgeon years later. He even created a number of medical miracles that changed history. But the rest of his life, even though Carson tried his best, his grades remained the same. Until one day, his mother noticed that Carson's reading posture was a little off. She found out that his eyes were 600 degrees nearsighted. This was probably the direct cause of his poor grades. So in order to change the situation, his mother had to spend all the money in the house to buy Carson a pair of eyeglasses. And ever since then, the light in his dark eyes was once again bright. The words on the blackboard and in the books became clearer. Soon after that, his grades improved dramatically. It was the first time he stood on the podium and received praise from his teacher. It was a feeling he had never felt before that satisfied his young heart. It also inspired a desire to learn. So in the following years, he began to immerse himself in a sea of knowledge, whether it was late at night in the library, or in his bedroom in the dim light. Even in the bathroom, Carson could be found studying. Over time, Carson developed a curiosity to explore the unknown, even the smallest rock on the ground. He wanted to study it. He wandered into the vast library and couldn't wait to check out all the books on rocks. And it was this small act. He won the respect of the teacher and his classmates in a lab class. The teacher on the podium slowly picked up a black stone and asked if any of the students knew its name. However, the classroom became silent at that moment. After the teacher asked him again and again, Carson had the courage to raise his hand. In front of the astonished eyes of the other students, he confidently told his answer.